Do you think that investigative agencies like CBI will not go hammer and tongs again? Maybe it's not Kejriwal now because Kejriwal is acquitted. Maybe it's another Kejriwal in the I mean maybe in any other state, and then again they will start commenting on the policy decisions. So are there going to be some lessons learned? Will the court pass some orders which can be a deterrent for the ruling party so that they don't err again on this line?
CD, there are supposed to be safeguards, checks and balances. When the prosecuting agency goes and finds material, it is also incumbent upon them to seek legal advice. The legal advisors also must actually examine the evidence with a critical eye and say a case is made out or not made out. This case will stand in court or will not stand in court. All those questions need to be raised. Who was it who authorized this prosecution? Who was it who signed off on this charge sheet? They have much answering to do. And if I was the head of the CBI, I would have an internal inquiry and fix responsibility. And a CBI director with a conscience would probably take something like the doctrine of collective responsibility very seriously.
So you think that in all wisdom and in all good sense, on the basis of morality and the kind of verdict we are seeing, in ideal scenario, the CBI director should have resigned, apparently.
Well, we live in Ram Rajya. Agni Pariksha is reserved only for opponents.
No, but I mean, can BJP still go ahead and challenge this verdict? And how can it create further troubles for the Aam Aadmi Party or Kejriwal or Sisodia?
It's not the BJP that will challenge the verdict. It will be the CBI which has the authority to challenge the verdict. Whether they will risk challenging the verdict, and even if they do challenge the verdict, overturning the verdict, which is after all 500 pages and it will have so many accused, will be a large and Herculean task. Maybe they'll find some new case to go after. That's a different thing. But on this case, there has been a great amount of muck which was thrown at Mr. Kejriwal and the party, and that has been washed off. Whether you can reinstate it, I don't know, but it will not be soon.
Like what you said, that maybe they would not challenge, but they can go behind some other leaders. Say, for example, we have elections in Tamil Nadu, we have elections in Kerala, we have elections in West Bengal. Now, can there be a part two of the liquor case? Maybe not the liquor policy, but maybe some other policy in some other incarnation. And can they go behind? Because one should not forget that it was right on the eve of Delhi elections that Arvind Kejriwal was accused. He was put behind bars. Manish Sisodia spent so many months in the jail. And how can one forget all that? Now, of course, Aam Aadmi Party does have much to say before the people now that, look, we were right, what we said was correct, and they'll again start labeling BJP. But this entire case, what is the kind of message it leaves behind before all the people of the country who started actually believing that Arvind Kejriwal is not Kattar Imandar?
No, please keep Mr. Kejriwal aside. The ED has gone after Mr. Hemant Soren in Jharkhand. And you mentioned the possibilities of other chief ministers and all that. It becomes incumbent upon all the investigating agencies to resist political pressure. Anybody who tells you go after X or go after Y, by all means investigate, but never be hustled into a decision to arrest or a decision to prosecute. That has to have an independent mind applied, and you have to check the system all the way till the end. When you are sure that you have material which is more than material, which qualifies as evidence, which will stand up in a court of law, it is only then that you should proceed to further steps.
What is the guarantee that the ED will not go behind other leaders? Now, look at what the manner in which the police of the two states behaved in this shirtless protest. Himachal police, cuffing up with the Delhi police, the police officials being detained. So it's very natural the way the police is being used as a puppet, and so are the investigative agencies, whether it is the ED or the CBI. Now, do you think that can we expect things to improve from here on after this case, or nothing is going to improve? We can't expect.
Well, one thing I'm pleasantly surprised with, and that is the independence shown by the trial court. Very often in big cases, it's many people's experience that despite a very good job done by the defense, trial courts find it safer to convict. This court has called the CBI's bluff. You see, it's not the CBI alone. The special cell doing UAPA. Every prosecuting agency says that we will slow down the process with tons of paper, relevant, irrelevant, whatever. Nobody can really go through all that material. Nobody can and sit through it at one sitting or two sittings of the court. And the process itself will ensure that that the accused remain behind bars for years on an end. That advantage of, what shall we say, fairy tales, or of playing the villains in fairy tales, the investigating agencies have. It becomes incumbent upon courts to have a healthy skepticism of prosecution claims.
So, to the credit of the trial courts, what you were talking about, the judge of the trial court has also initiated departmental proceedings against the IO. That also is something which I want you to comment on, because court not only flagged the tainted investigative material, but also recommended the initiation of departmental proceedings against the erring investigating officer for implicating Kuldeep Singh as an accused in the absence of any material against him. The judge did so to ensure that accountability, and I'm reading this portion from Live Law, which is correctly portraying what actually the court said. The judge did so to ensure that accountability is fixed and the institutional credibility of the investigative machinery is preserved. And I'm quoting again: to permit such conduct to pass without consequence would erode public confidence in the administration of criminal justice and would amount to tacit judicial approval of investigative impropriety, an outcome which the rule of law does not permit. What would you say to this, sir? Because it's like a watertight verdict where no scope is left, where people can say, okay, so there's actually no scope to let the accused, to let the CBI or any other investigating agencies have any outlet.
No. Look, when any judge writes 500 pages, there will always be lawyers who can find some scope to argue. So I don't believe that there is any matter where there is no scope whatsoever. Yes, one must commend the judge for not leaving it at only a discharge of the accused. He has asked the right questions and he has wanted accountability to be fixed. Because, after all, so much judicial time, which is a non-renewable resource, has been wasted on this prosecution at various stages. Had this prosecution been subject to an audit before it was launched, if the right questions had been, then there would not have been in those arrests. Without those arrests, all those several bail applications in the various courts and the Supreme Court, how much judicial time was wasted because the investigating officer did a shoddy job? So yes, there has to be accountability.
But Mr. Hegde, I'm also worried about the fate of this Rouse Avenue Court judge. Now, can there be a transfer? Can there be some punitive measures? Because obviously, it's a verdict which doesn't suit BJP or it doesn't suit the CBI.
Well, let's put it this way: that uh, transfers can happen only within Delhi. That is one thing about the Delhi Judicial Service. The second thing is that, like in the IAS, like in several places, there are people who go on and say that we will call it as we see it, and that transfers are part of the game. I also doubt that people will risk unnecessary antagonism with the judiciary. And yes, I'm hopeful that the high courts, which are the supervising courts, will also stand up for their judges.
Absolutely. And before I wind up the show, I would also want to talk about what the court has said about the CBI investigation again. It said that the CBI investigation proceeded on a predetermined trajectory implicating virtually every person associated with the formulation or implementation of the policy in order to lend an illusion of depth and credibility to an otherwise fragile narrative. Now, this is a very important line, and but we don't see any change in the mindset. Look at what is happening, and I'm trying to compare it with this shirtless protest. What's happening here? They arrest 3 4 people, then they round up several others, they go to other states, they're trying to widen the net of the case. And this is exactly what happened in the liquor case as well. So what would you say towards the end as far as now the investigations and the further cases are concerned? Yes, sir.
Well, I hope that the investigating officers take a cue from what has happened to the investigating officer in this case. There is no immunity for biased investigations. And after all, there is only one set of commands that the investigators have to follow. It is the Constitution of India and the criminal manual. That is the penal code, the criminal procedure code, and the evidence act. Go strictly by it. And if anybody tells you anything or suggests anything, smile sweetly at them and ask them to send it in writing.
But do you think that this verdict really pricks the conscience of CBI and the other investigative agencies? They would be feeling ashamed. There's just one question which I feel like asking you as I close the program.
To quote Galib, किस मुंह से काबा जाओगे गालिब, शर्म तो मगर आती नहीं.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining on HW News. Thank you.
Thank you.